Walking out of this NATO summit, was this a good NATO summit for the Europeans?
I think the Europeans will feel that they have a lot more dignity and a lot more skin in the game and a lot more respect. And in particular, self-respect is a term that I've heard from a lot of diplomats from NATO member states, because they pledged, as we said yesterday, $50 billion worth of investment when it comes to tanks, interceptors, Patriot missiles, and also $40 billion for drones, which is obviously an immediate capacity that is required. That comes obviously at a time when the United States has removed assets and capabilities with immediate effect from NATO, including long-range bombers and so on. So the Europeans are taking control of their own continent. The other part is that the investment yesterday we heard about is really long-term. So for the moment, the continent still needs the United States, and they still need to purchase American weapons, because the ability in terms of the defence industry in Europe is not quite there yet. So the question about still relying on the United States is still the one that exists for the moment. But I caught up with the Estonian Prime Minister, Kristen, and I asked him, because obviously, of course, Estonia is a country that is close to Russia and experiences a lot of interventions from Russia. And I asked him about his takeaways.
Topic was security, investing in defense, the defense industry. Also the questions about the Middle East, which is very kind of up to date. And these were the topics, but not Greenland.
Tell us about NATO 3.0. Is this the beginning of NATO 3.0? Because if you even compare 26 to 25, the level of spending by Europe and Canada has increased really historically.
Yeah. I would say that the message is there, because when you look at the numbers, it's 139 billions in dollars, US dollars, that last year, 2025, was increased by Europe and Canada, the expenditure. So I would say that increasing goes on, because everybody has made a pledge and promise in Hague to go to 5%. Estonia, for example, our defense expenditure this year is already 5.4. And if we add this kind of wider military investments, 1.5 to that, so I would say it's almost 7%, as in Lithuania, Latvia, Poland. So I would say this, yes, NATO will grow stronger, Europe will grow stronger, we will have more capabilities and also more defense industry, which is very much needed, because Russia still out-produces us, even though their economy is size of a medium European country.
Donald Trump and the United States has clearly had a different relationship with Europe. There was a feeling, if Putin were to test Article 5, particularly if he were to do something in Estonia, we wouldn't know the answer to that.
I would say that we know, because, for example, we had de-sinking of Baltics from Russian energy grid. At that moment, we needed NATO to step up, and I called Mark Rutte. And we have NATO ships on the Baltic Sea guarding our critical infrastructure. And that is a little bit later. MiGs from Russia came into our airspace. Italian F-35s, which were air policing, went up, escorted them out. So NATO on the practical level is working well. And also, for example, Romanian fighter jets shot down a drone. This was only the second time in NATO's history on Estonian soil. So that means that NATO on the military level is working well. We have chain of command, everything in place, procedures, operational control, everything. And Russia knows that. But probably this kind of rhetoric from Russian side and friends of Russia, this is the cognitive warfare Putin wants to have. He wants to have us believe that he will be in Kiev in 3 days and so on. It's 5th year. He's losing 35,000 of his own. He has a burning gas station in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Ports are burning. He's turning down Telegram, 5G. He's getting more paranoid. So this is the image he wants us to believe.
Do you think Putin's on his way out?
Hopefully, but the pressure should remain.